Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Charlie Bravo here. I am the Gear Freak, and today we're not going to do a gear review. There are 5 weeks during the month of March, and apparently slipped my brain because I've got 4 items to review this month. So, but that gives me an opportunity to talk about gear reviews in general and kind of my thoughts on it. I've actually been thinking about this video for a while, and then of course Jarhead6 did a video about it, kind of beat me to the punch, if you will. But I still think it's a worthwhile topic to discuss. So I want to talk about is kind of getting into doing gear reviews, where I got into them, and my thoughts on how to do a good gear review, how to get items for gear reviews and things like that. And now keep in mind, this is just what my thoughts are on it. Maybe you have a completely different thought process, and that's fine. I think that there are many ways to go about doing it. But as far as getting into it, I think you really need to remember where you're coming from, where your channel size is, and keep that in mind. So if you have 50 subscribers and you want to do gear reviews, which I've been there, absolutely, don't think that you're going to send an email to a company and get a $200 knife, okay? It's probably not going to happen. So the best way to kind of ease into it would be to look at the stuff you already have. You're probably familiar with it. Specifically, if it's stuff that you have and you're like, you know what, I really like this piece of kit, do a review on it. Talk about it. Explain why you like it so much. And you can kind of ease into it that way. One of the things that I did, one of the first early on reviews that I did, I actually contacted the company and offered to do the review, and under the caveat that I will send it back to you or I will pay you for it. Really depending on how much I like it, type of thing. I ended up purchasing that. That was a knife from Mission Knives, and I got a pretty good discount for doing the review. So that's another way that you can kind of think about doing it is I didn't have to pay for it up front, and really they kind of took a chance on me, obviously, because I could have just blown them off. There was no signed contract or anything like that. But that would have hurt me in the long run. That would have, closed that door forever. I would have never been able to do another gear or a knife review from that company. And really, it's going to get around. Okay, not that they're all talking to each other and they get around the table and talk about your channel being horrible because they did that. But eventually, you're going to get that reputation, and you don't want that. So, if you say you're going to do something, do it, and keep them updated on things. I don't do as good a job at that as I try to, as I want to, but if you're going to do a review and you get an item, and I like to make sure I have the item for at least 30 days. I mean, that's bare minimum, preferably 90 or longer. But make sure the companies understand that ahead of time. If they send you an item, you're like, yep, got it, thanks, and then they don't see anything for 3 months, they're going to start to wonder what happened. So keeping them updated. Hey, this is my plan, and this is the schedule, so look for it on this date. And make sure you keep in contact with people, keep them informed on what you're doing. I think that goes a long way to, kind of easing their thoughts and making sure that they're going to want to work with you in the future. Now, another thing to consider that as you grow, you can start to maybe get to that point where you're not paying for things, or you're paying a lot less for things, or you're getting more and more expensive items to review. But keep it in mind that it really is based on the size of your channel. It doesn't have, I know that it sounds bad, but it doesn't really matter what background you have. Unless you're a big name person that everybody knows, it doesn't really matter. Nobody knows who I am. Who am I? So they have to base their decision to send me an item based on my channel, based on my previous reviews that they can look at and say, oh, he did a great job. I like how he did this. So that's something to include in that email that you send to somebody. Make sure you have links to previous reviews, especially if it's something similar. Hey, I want to do a knife review. Well, here's the type of knife reviews that I've done in the past. Send them a link so they can see something and say, okay, now I can kind of visualize what that person will do for me. But keep in mind where you are, okay, what your pecking order is, because if you are, again, that channel with 50 subscribers, don't get your feelings hurt because a big name company doesn't want to take a chance on you. it's okay. Maybe that's where you need to find some of those companies who are just getting started, and maybe, kind of do a cooperative type of thing. Hey, this company, they're trying to get their name out there, their product out there, and I'm trying to get some gear to review. So that's when you need to maybe talk to those people, search those things out, do a little research, and figure out what you want to do. Now, as far as the reviews themselves, honesty is probably the most important thing. Your channel's integrity, your good word, I guess, is very important. So how do you balance that? Well, how do you balance the doing a good job for somebody who sent you gear, basically paying you? I mean, they're not giving you cash necessarily, but they're giving you something of monetary value for a product that you're providing to them, which is a review. How do you give a good review or not if it's complete garbage? I'm going to tell you what I've done in the past. Whether it was right, whether it was wrong, honestly, I don't know. I question that still, whether I did the right thing. I got an item from a big name company. I'm not going to tell you who it is because they're a big gun manufacturer, and I got an accessory from them. And it's probably a $25, $30 item. Not very expensive, but it was complete garbage. I mean, it was bad. And I'm going to tell you, what I did was I got it. After about 3 or 4 days with it, I was like, this is just junk. Do I burn that bridge and do the video basically flaming them and saying how big of a piece of crap this is? Or do I say, oh, this thing is awesome, and ruin the integrity of the channel? I chose in that instance to not do a review at all. I sent the rep, it's a public relations rep in this case. I sent them an email basically telling them my opinion, my opinion of it in an email form, and I sent that product back to them. And, I have not talked to them again since then to see if they were willing to send me something new or anything like that, but I really didn't want to burn that bridge. But at the same time, I couldn't in good conscience do a good review. There's no way I could do a good review, but I also didn't want to do a horrible review, of this product about how bad it was, for a company that sent me something out of the goodness of their heart. Well, maybe not the goodness of their heart, but they did take a chance on me. And so I don't know. I don't know whether I did the right thing or not. If you guys have an opinion on that, I'd love to hear from you guys. So go ahead and tell me where I did the right or wrong thing down below. I'd love to hear from you. Now, as far as the length of your actual review, I try to keep it, around that 10-minute mark or less. Sometimes it goes a little long depending on the item, but if I'm hitting that 15-minute mark, I got to do some reconsidering, because I'm not Hickok45 who can do a 45-minute review and have people watch the whole thing and millions of people watch it. That's just not going to happen. So I try to keep them short, fairly concise. My format is to give you the information, the facts. Here's the things about it. What it's made out of, different accessories, colors, options, all that kind of stuff, and then tell you my opinion about it. Usually I try to keep the opinions to being, kind of fact-based. This causes this problem. I will give my opinion, though, as far as, ways that I think a company can improve things. And whether they do something with that is not up to me. I tell that to the company. Here's my opinion. I think you can improve it by doing this. If they do it, they do it. If they don't, that's up to them. They have my opinion on it. Now, I then like to follow it up. I like to end on a good note and say the things that I like about it, whether it's, that it has so many options or a specific feature of it that I really like. That's where I go. And I try to make sure that I paint that picture as far as how a consumer would use it. Okay, so if it's a light, I like the fact that it has different settings on that light, because a person might want to use it in their home, so they got a little bit dimmer light for in their home so they're not washing everything out. Brighter, setting for outdoors. I like to make sure that you, the viewers, can see how you could use it as well. That's my personal way that I do things. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know. Again, if you guys have an opinion, whether I'm doing the right thing or wrong thing, go ahead and let me know down in the comment section. But really, that's what it comes to. I've done now quite a few gear reviews when I'm looking back at it. Quite a few. I did a bunch of them just this last October. Was it October or November? Now I can't even remember. It's all running together. November, where I did a video a day for that entire month. I had to get a lot of items for that, and I really appreciate the companies who took a chance on me. I'm not a big channel by any stretch. You know, just a little bit over 2,000 subscribers is still a very small channel in the big scheme of things. So, but I have had a lot of opportunity to look at some great gear and, you know, some mediocre gear and a few things that were not so good. But anyway, I hope that this is informative to you guys, and I hope you guys get something out of it. If you did, it's always appreciated when you like and share the videos. And if you want to see Gear Freak, more gear reviews and things like that, find that subscribe button, put your crosshairs on it, pull the trigger on your mouse, and come back next Thursday. There will be an actual gear review next Thursday. And then on every Saturday, we have the Saturday Sit Rep, which is where we talk about your rights, your Second Amendment rights, and, you know, guns in the news and my opinion on different guns and things like that. So be sure to come back on Saturday for the Saturday Sit Rep. Remember, your mind, your brain, that is your most important weapon, and it's vital to be armed with information. Until next time, take care and be safe. Charlie Bravo out.